Hi everyone. So loads of series of sessions happening one after the other. Very interesting topics, in fact, and a very interesting format. Thanks to Medicall for bringing this out. So the topic that I have today is the significance of internal signages in a hospital. These are some of the questions or the problem statements that we have. Can you relate to them? Do your patients feel they get lost the moment they enter inside a hospital? Do your patients take more time to figure out what is where in the hospital and depend a lot on your staff time? Do you get patients which suit your expertise and the technical advancements that you have in your hospital? Do you feel your patients are actually annoyed waiting for way too long? And is your OP to IP conversion missing due to trust factors or capability showcase issues? Or your employees lacking motivation to give their best? If some of these problems are the problems that you have, let me introduce to you the power of internal branding. It is an underutilized weapon, I can say, which has got a lot more power to do things which are amazing. It is a communication system that you need to have in place that can create a deeper impact. If we can really communicate well, we can get what we want. And for this, the first and the very simple initiative that we need to take is we need to make our hospital walls talk. How do we do it? The moment I talk about internal signages, or I get calls from hospital owners talking about internal signages, is when they apply for NABH accreditation. Ilias, I'm getting into NABH, come on, we need to get our signages up and running. So it's more than that. In fact, it really helps you in the NABH process. And apart from that, it is much more deeper. If you take a hoarding or a bus back panel or an online advertising medium or a TV advertising medium, all these only last for seconds. But you do all of these to get what? To get footfalls. And also references. That's a much deeper chain link, in fact. Seconds, attention. But what is the average waiting time for a patient in your hospital? What we have understood it is the minimum is 20 minutes. In fact, that is the least minimum I can say. It is in fact hours. It is in fact days. It is in fact multiple visits over months, depending on the case. If that is the scenario, how do you effectively leverage your internal branding to really achieve your organizational goals? Here is a format that we have created over the years of our research and implementations that we have done at various places. We call this as Code 10IB, meaning there are 10 things that you need to do when you're looking at internal branding. Go little above signages. It is in fact internal branding. It is about making your walls talk. So how do you make use of that time which people are going to spend? And there are 10 ways to do it. And I'm going to go one after the other. And let us understand, or let me clarify this very clearly, that internal branding is not only for the corporate setups. It is even applicable for a clinic, hospital of any size. It is very much it's very much important. And how much, or what are the elements that you're going to pick from this presentation and use it is all based on your ideal goals that you may have. But you need not implement all of it, but you can take the finer aspects of each one of these things that we're going to see through, and you can get the best out of it. The first and the most important is the standards. The basics rule here. What are the standards? First, having a signage that matches with your brand, decor, brand color, theme, and making sure it is readable and at the eye view. These are some of the standards that everyone needs to follow. But what do we see as common mistakes here is the fonts are small in some of these spots and people don't really read them clearly from a distance, and a lot of people do have eye issues, and some of the content is below the eye level view. English and regional language, whatever is the regional language, has to be there along with English. These are the basic standards even for NABH. But what has happened? Like this happened with NHS, the Leeds teaching hospitals, NHS trust basically. So they came up with a signage, and instead of writing it out as inpatient, the signage maker made it as impatient, and this became viral. So you should not go viral for all the wrong reasons. So it should be for the good reasons, in fact. So if that is the case in India, it is even more worse in several, hilarious, funny boards that we see. Patient rights and responsibilities is one very important thing, and then the waste disposal, communication, and the doctor's directory. This is the most important stuff, showcasing the kind of power that you have with respect to the kind of resources that you build in. The second most important thing is awareness marketing. What do we talk about here? Here we are talking about creating awareness about the brand, awareness about the services that you're offering, awareness about things like these which are good to people, education, which could be about symptoms, treatments, creating awareness around it. And there are multiple ways how you can create awareness through the digital and the non-digital mediums. And the very important thing that we see a lot of people go for is, if supposing the last part, it's the conversion space during counseling. And they want to really understand what I have to really go through to get myself treated with this. And this is where a lot of verbal explanation happens. If some visual explanation can happen, this can really make things much more easier and smoother in terms of conversion. The third most important thing is brand culture. So what do you really stand for? What is your vision? What is your mission? What is your value system? All that can come here. And what is the chairman's message? This is the most important part, I can say, in your brand culture, because whatever the organization's leader thinks, if that can be presented out, they don't have to physically or literally meet the person, but if they can align with the value system of the organization owner or the brand owner, there is a deeper connect that you can actually build with your people. We may not know Mark Zuckerberg personally or Bill Gates personally, but the way how they present themselves in the space, in the online space or in the offline space, or the vision statements that they put forward, if we align with them, we connect with them. So this is very important. And also, how do you emote as a brand? How do you talk as a brand to the people who are with you, which could be your employees by creating happy workspaces, or which could be that you want to make people join your cause. How do you really make them be a part of it? Or how do you really relate to the TG? So it's like a brand talking to the people, okay? And mostly I see this problem, right? Small and mid-sized hospitals, they always want to talk, but if we can actually make our walls talk, it can be really more interesting and it can save a lot of your efforts. And how do the brands relate or communicate their brand message to the TG? These are some of the examples of what the brands have done, even with Kaveri. How does a brand give confidence to its patients or the patient attenders that they are at the right place? And what kind of a motivation message that you can bring in? If need be, please use it. Use the regional language wherever applicable. Fourth, trending at hospital. What's happening at the hospital? You have so many departments out there, or even if it is a single specialty, there is so much work happening around. So how do you really communicate all these things out? It can even start with a simple board like this. You don't have to make it very fancy. This was well organized in a way, but still it's your choice how you want to do it. So starting from the awards and accolades, your media presence, or the launching of a new department, adding a new doctor, or a media release or a launch, basically, whatever you want to talk about, the latest advancements that you have, all this can become the trending subject which can get into your board, that people can get to know about. Why this is important? We see that you keep getting the same patients because the patients come through referrals. And the patients really don't even know what are the other things happening at the hospital, apart from the one specialty that they come in for, or for the one doctor they come in for. So, and the hospital still complains that, right, we do get patients only for this specialty, but all other specialties we really don't, despite having very good people, doctors basically, and the good infra that we have, they don't really have the kind of patience that they really need to have. That's only because of lack of communication. If people are given this communication about what you are doing in all other spheres, definitely it is going to be very effective. Doctor profile. People are very, very particular about the doctor that they're getting in touch with. They really want to know who this doctor is, what is the qualification, and basically what are the career highlights, and what exactly are the case studies. Has he done something really remarkable? If he can do that, my case is nothing. And I can very well, go in and, take the consultation and also go in for surgeries. Number 6 is patient reviews. You may be a good hospital and all your reviews are sitting only in your Google reviews page. That is not going to help you. Those reviews need to come and we need to play those reviews on the screen there at your hospital. How does it really help? We still get a lot of people asking me, how do I really increase my reviews ethically, organically? The only way for you to increase your reviews is you get hundreds of people coming to you for OPs, or 200, 300, or 400 in some cases, or even 50 in some cases. Just imagine 20% conversion of that, writing good reviews about you. That is going to phenomenally increase the kind of rating that you're going to have. So this is one example of one brand called 𝐶𝐫𝐞. They did this. They call this, like a tree of hope or tree of life. They bring out a tree and then they just paste a normal foam board. And they make sure that every patient going out, this is for emergency, okay? They are into ICU and emergency care. And every patient goes out, they just paste a leaf and then they move forward. So then a tree becomes very green one day and then they start posting it in the social spaces. Or it could be one of these, which could be a foam board or the boards that people can write. This is the one that I was talking to you about the Google reviews. And apart from that, how do you celebrate patients? Like they have undergone a difficulty and you have helped them out and now they are succeeding in their life. How do you really make that a part of your communication? Number 7, department specific. We are talking about getting into each department and creating communications around it. So which could be, highlighting the current campaign or the doctor or the team. It need not be a very flamboyant photograph. It could be a very simple, humble photograph, but also do make it a point, apart from doctors, you include the others. The more and more they are becoming visible in that particular department, they are actually taking ownership. If their photo is there, they are responsible, which means they are going to do a very good amount of work. Number 8, innovation. This is just an example which GEM Hospital did when they were launching their hospital. They did a gastro expo. So why should people only visit your hospital when they are sick? Or for a wellness checkup? It could also be for education. And this was a fantastic initiative. And there was one more brand called 𝐶𝐫𝐞. They did ICU expo. So again, ICU is even more critical. You don't get to an emergency unless and otherwise you get to, you have a need for it. So ICU is one thing. Number 9 is digitalization. Even though we talk about boards having static communication, I would suggest all of you to look at this investment very seriously because you can do a lot with your digital signages. And it ensures a seamless communication. You can have all the doctor profiles played, who is available at what time, on-demand interactive content. You're running a campaign, immediately people can get to know about it. Time slots you can change, peak hours content you can manage, and then immediate content flash you can do. Number 10, then the most important thing. We are talking about making your walls speak, and the very important part here is not just making your walls talk, it is people talking to people. Your employees or your brand ambassadors. Your employees or your brand ambassadors, and the very important component in your internal branding are the people inside your organization. If your walls are talking something and if they talk something else, it is not really going to work out. So they need to talk the same language and they need to make sure you are walking the talk, and you need to really help them out by showcasing their faces in the billboards inside your organization, gamification to increase the service levels, and training. And this is the entire blueprint. And thank you very much for being very attentive in listening. I'm here to answer your queries. And we have given a gift to all of you here. This is my book on the subject called Ethical Hospital Branding and Marketing. Thank you very much.